There was a robbery in the West Precinct. It's also a black male that would be on his way down the interstate.
Adam Davis robbed the guy.
Millsap speaks with a detective working the robbery that just came in.
Really calm. He's wearing a black, all black hoodie.
Can't be the same dude.
He said it wasn't a black jacket. It could be the fact that there's two. One got out of the other.
You just know that you just killed somebody and you went and didn't know it?
Davis Robert Park.
I really don't have his car description.
Did you guys check to see if there's anything around that might have a video picking up this car coming in or out of there?
The team will search for surveillance cameras near the latest robbery.
Just hit me up if you find something else, Doc.
Okay.
I'm going to go back and create a to-do list for the guys in the morning. So what we want to do is get the license plate reader stuff to see if we can compare the cars.
License plate readers near the two crime scenes may have caught images.
Joder, tío.
I'm going to set up a meeting for everybody tomorrow so that we can all get on the same page and compare all of these other robberies. So that's kind of where we're at.
Wait to keep it tight.
Thanks, guys.
Black Ops UAV is inbound.
12 hours in,
The sketch artist. I've got her on standby.
the team will bring in a sketch artist, hoping Felix's coworker can give them a picture of the killer.
Sit down with a sketch artist. Is that something that you'd be willing to do? Alright, thank you so much. She says she'll do it today.
Then,
So, Norcross developed the tag coming off the interstate, off the LPR, over the overpass.
a Volkswagen fitting the description of the suspect near the latest robbery.
The match.
Yeah, he's saying it's a gray Jetta. The only gray Jetta that's come through there at the time frame, and then it comes back to a black female. She's doing a full workup on it.
As pressure builds to catch the suspect, they strike again.
Squeeze in, please.
Detectives across several departments share what they know about the robberies.
That's what we're trying to do today, find out what cases match.
People holding up auto parts stores is very rare. Because of that, COVID was given that series.
Robbery detective Justin Cofield is leading the investigation into the string of robberies.
November 22nd of last year, the same O'Reilly's was hit. White male,
¿Dónde cogemos? Ahí mismo.
black sweater, just like this one and all of them. So that he's always stressing, really calm. And most of them he's wearing a surgical mask. He said, we got to win. I'm going here for the money.
Fast forward, last night I was all
Known, very calm.
I'm here for the money. Pretty cold. They shot and executed him to go down the road. Less than 40 minutes later, do another robbery. They've shown the violence and really don't give an F. Just so you know, I got off the phone with the FBI. They've been working pretty hard. Real solid beat. We have house and we work with what we got. This is where the experience in the room comes in handy, okay?
Un sniper, weón.
23 hours in,
You got the drawing back. Look at that picture. This came off of her controls.
a man on a social media page belonging to who owns the Jetta.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Your squad mate is redeploying. Well done. That's it. Copy, done.
I told you the pinky ring was going to be the nail in the coffin. Nobody wants the pinky rings.
Friendly loadout
No, es que les hacen unas miras que no sirven, es una completa verga. Mira que son los tres.
Detective Smith, we actually have a photo lineup that we want to show you. Okay, we're probably going to head that way shortly. Okay, thank you so much. Alright, bye-bye. Alright, she's going to be home waiting.
Your squad mates.
There's some detectives in the Special Victims Unit that are going to head out to the house to show the lineup.
No me he dado cuenta, man.
Detectives returned from showing the lineup
Hay uno
to
arriba.
the eyewitness. She couldn't make a positive ID.
It's not the end of the world, though. We have an easy to grab that car all day long. I want to get a little more so we have this more airtight.
Time is on our side. That's fine. Let's watch her movements.
The team decides to get a warrant to put a GPS tracker on Jenna.
I think I'm just getting like mentally drained, and so I'm just getting very. I see that. I definitely felt the weight in this case of having to investigate another law enforcement officer's death. Obviously, there's a lot of pressure. Personally, it was something that I really wanted to get solved.
I don't fucking believe it.
Wait, no lo veis.
With the clock winding down,
Yeah, that warning sign though. Maybe just some.
a judge approves the warrant for the tracker.
Trackers are extremely beneficial to us. We use them for a couple of reasons. The first, obviously, is
Go get
we
on.
want to track that suspect vehicle and the people in it. We want to learn their daily routines, where they eat, where they lay their head. And also the biggest thing is following them where they may go get another location. Because that way, if we're watching it, we can start putting people in that area to, intercept them. It's just going to take a little more work, but I'm confident that we're going to get there.
Dios, al perro. Uy, mira que hay un sniper enfrente. Hacia la
Ay, cómo más que hacen balas,
High station prices are with you. Stand by for redeployment. Your squad is down. Stay alive to bring them back.
sniper no vale verga. No sé ni cómo nos va a matar. Mira, acá mataron porque aquí de todo animal. Míralo allá a la derecha, tranquilo. Ay, Dios, dame paciencia. Pero ¿para dónde vas, soplado? Espere que salgamos primero.
Resurgence window is ending. Watch your six. Enemy dropping into the AR.
Quiere decirle al man cómo es.
You have reinforcements inbound.
¿Cómo se dice? ¿Sniper?
Se dice francotirador. Ay, con horrilla, ¿pero qué? Me dejaron ni caer.
Pero caché que le quedaron como iba a entrar, me la abrió.
Your squad made it to the space. You've got gas moving in.
Ah, es que el man estaba ahí mismo.
Cómprese un ataque y
Hay otro perrico de puta ahí, va. ¿Ah?
Fire sales done.
¿Para qué ponerle ahí?
¿A quién?
Your squad mates back on station. Good work. Enemy soldier incoming.
Cypher,
Hostile
sniper.
UAV in the area.
la pared, hijo de puta.
Squad mate is redeploying. Well done.
Ay, que es que no me dejan ni tocar el piso. Va uno de
A mí no me
caída
dejan
libre, ni
tocar
siquiera
el
con el
oxígeno.
Ni siquiera con el paracaídas abierto y lo tumban a uno.
Apenas para tomar mi primero para eso.
Your squad mate's back on station. Good work. Enemies are dropping into the area. Watch the
Plata
skies.
me compraron. Dinerito.
Mete el dedito.
También.
¡Oh! ¡Para
Tengo una idea tipo Freddy. Si cogen
No, marica, no.
yo con la moto, cojo la moto y los distraigo.
Tiene, ya no le quiero más ganas de meterse por ahí, perro.
I actually had a situation like this where I was working in home health and I had a patient who was a Spanish speaker and she was sent home with little to no
A ver, y
education.
tengo otra idea. Yo llego hasta ahí y digo, muchachos, me voy a entregar.
From the hospital sent
Y voy sin arma. Y usted lo embosca. Hace una emboscada.
and so this poor
Y
patient
ganamos.
5 squads still operational in the AO. 9 left. Keep the pressure on.
Seguir dándoles caña. Allá donde me mataron, vienen todos allá atrás de por el lado de la grúa, marica. Están todos
Gas is moving.
Por acá.
unos hijo de puta ni pero tenía yo, marica, y con cada balazo me quitaba la mitad de la camisa. ¡Míralo!
Ay, marica, me mata la plataforma.
Que como marica Tiburcio.
La muerte más hueva que hay.
No. Eso fue destino final 3, marica.
Weón, qué matata. Cerro.
A la izquierda.
La única forma de morir.
Cancilín, míralo. Izquierda. Derecha. Ay, güey, ese arma también horrible, güey.
Déjeme, canchilita quieto, no me lo distraiga. Voy acá de munición, ve ahí está. ¿Cuál la? ¿Cuántos quedan? 8, 4 equipos.
Arriba ya, pues.
¿Cuál la máscara que está ahí? ¿Cuál la máscara que está pegada a la pared? Vela. ¿Cuál la máscara que está dentro de usted? Mírala ahí en la pared, al lado del botiquín. ¡Vuela! Pero tiene la máscara ahí. Yeah.
What's going on, guys?
Your mother and I think you're hooked up fine.
It's preposterous. Make sure that that's appropriate, that they aren't having any significant needs that can only be met in ICU. Or you also might be having somebody from med-surg that needs to be transferred from ICU into the ICU because they've become more critical. So make sure it's appropriate. And then there are lots of different types of transfers that are going to be done. They can go from, again, one floor to another. They can go from one unit to another. So maybe like a SNF from a hospital. And then when you're doing that, you want to make sure that you have a transfer. It's really easy to just take them in the bed. SNF or a long-term facility, then you want to make sure that they're being how they're going to get there. Because let's say they're an elderly patient and they've decided that they need to go to a SNF or they need to go to long-term care, then how are they going to get there. Now, frequently, a lot of SNFs and long-term care facilities will come pick up their patients, but that are transferring to them. But just be aware of that so that you can help them, because of maybe it's a little old man and his poor little wife doesn't have the ability or the strength to get him from one facility to the next. Make sure that you help them out in knowing how to do that. And then giving report. I do have another video on how to give a good report, but I just wanted to share some experiences. I have received, I've had some bad reports and transfers from other facilities given to me, and I had one nurse who called to give me a report and told me a couple things like the name of the patient and their date of birth and what they were in the hospital for, which is great. That was a great way to start. But then rather than giving me a good report, they said, okay,
close the door.
you just run me through your list of questions.
Is the door closed?
That's not giving a good report, and it's not my job to suck out that information from a nurse. It's the nurse's job to give me that good report, because I don't know this patient.
Thanks, loud in the mouth for that.
I need that nurse to tell me what I need to know. And of course, always ask questions to follow up and make sure that you have the information that you need, but don't be a nurse that just says, just tell me what you want. Then I've also had nurses tell me, like, all IVs have been pulled, and then
That
been coming.
That's that type of shit that had us under being like,
yeah. Yeah, to touch that shit again, that's it, might drive me crazy.
So just a quick review here. Admissions are when you're going to be bringing a patient into your hospital. It's really important to introduce yourself and to make sure that you're identifying your patient correctly, and that you orient them and explain to them what's going on, and make sure you get a really good baseline assessment. Discharge is when they're going to be either leaving your floor or leaving your facility, and you need to make sure that the patient has the tools and the things necessary in order to be successful after discharge. Transferring, also very similar again to those discharges, but going to another floor or to another facility successful in their care. Thanks for tuning in. Please help me grow my channel by clicking subscribe and follow below.
Once in a lifetime is never enough. Never enough. For the ring finger, for every finger. For right now, for the future. For all the joy, the love, the warmth, the brilliance. For all that is beautiful in life. For all the precious moments. Hey everyone, it's Sarah from
Hey there, it's Christine from Nurse to Making, and today we're going to talk about vital signs. We're going to look at how to obtain a pulse, an oxygen saturation, respiratory rate, blood pressure, temperature, and pain. First off, we have a patient's pulse, or their heart rate. This is the number of times your heart beats per minute, which is why you'll see it written as beats per minute. An expected heart rate for an adult is 60 to 100 beats per minute. Now, less than 60 beats per minute is considered bradycardia, and anything greater than 100 beats per minute is considered tachycardia. Something to note is that athletes tend to have a lower heart rate, so it may be normal for an athlete to have a resting heart rate in the 40s or the 50s. Now let's look at some tips for assessing a pulse. You do not want to use your thumb when palpating a pulse. Your thumb actually has its own pulse that can remain the same as your patient. Be sure to determine the rate and the strength of the pulse. We assess the strength on a pulse scale, rating it from 0 to 4+. If the patient has a regular pulse and no cardiac issues are present, you can count for 30 seconds and multiply that number by 2. And the last tip is to use a Doppler device if you're having trouble finding a pulse. Now, a Doppler device may be used if you're trying to assess a weak pulse or if you find a pulse. A little pro tip is if a pulse is found using a Doppler, mark the location with a person else can easily find it next time. First off, let's assess the radial pulse. This is the most common site for assessing a pulse. This is the vein artery on the wrist found on the right side of the thumb. You want to place your first and second fingers at the base of the patient's thumb. You can count for a full minute, or like I said before, if the patient has no cardiac history, you can count for 30 seconds and multiply by 2. Okay, next we have the apical pulse. This can only be assessed with a
Let me guess. You're thinking about going to therapy. And as a therapist myself, of course I'm going to say that's a great idea. But first, let's talk about things they don't tell you. First of all, you're going to say, like 300 times, spoiler alert, isn't and how does that make you feel? Yes, they actually use this phrase, and yes, they actually want to know that he's still. Then there's the crying. Hi, I'm Maris, and in this video I'm going to be reviewing the physical assessment component. I'm going to be following along using flashcards from our